Dr. Kim has changed my life tremendously, and it's been incredible. I think about it when I first came to I moved up to Vermont in '78, and that's when I first met her. And I just at that time I kind of look at it as I was more of a seeking at that time. I was just out of college. I was thinking of trying to find myself. What am I going to do next? Where am I going? And I had some experiences that drove me towards the martial arts. In my life, I needed to be a survivor. I needed to be a fighter. I was bullied when I was younger, and I didn't want to be bullied. I wanted to be able to stand up on my own. So I started to look for I had had experience in the martial arts before, and I was looking again for a really good school, someone I could train with. And I didn't want to train under just a first-degree black belt. I wanted to train under, masters. So I read this article about train under real masters, and I was like, wow, that sounds exciting. So I went to this in Vermont. It was near the original Ben & Jerry's, and it was an old manufacturing place there. And 3 stories where they did wool, they did sweaters or wool or something. And I went up to her school, and I walked in the door, and I expect you to think about a martial arts master with with gray hair. And I walked in, and it was this beautiful princess there. She was in this big, beautiful Korean gown, and she was I don't know, it must have been my lucky day. I walked in, and I was just so. It was just incredible. It was like I walked into a fairy tale land or something, and I walked in, and I sat down and have a conversation with her. And I had met, at that moment, I knew I had met the wisest person I had ever met in my whole life. It was incredible. She told me more about myself in that few minutes than I had ever even knew about myself. And as a seeker, she told me what I needed, what I was going through, what problems I was dealing with, and I was like completely amazed. And so I then joined her. When I'm the type when you find something good, I'm going for it. So I realized that I had just found someone that was incredible. So I joined classes and started training, and her classes were just, there were like no other classes I had been to. People were the energy I felt, I'd come out with more energy. I'd go in the class and come out with incredible energy. I was learning things I had never learned. I gained confidence in who I was. I was starting to, actually it made me, class was both mind, body, and spirit. So it was also a side of very physical, but there was also the side where we would meditate a lot, and you would learn to free your mind from thoughts and to be more focused and more peaceful. I started being more creative at work. I worked for IBM at the time, and all of a sudden my creativity went up. I started feeling happier all the time. I had more energy. I was stronger, and everything about it was just incredible.